Hi, I'm back. I'm Jill from Copycat Crafts by Jill, and I'm really excited about this one because it is truly a very easy, it almost makes itself, well, okay, I might have exaggerated a little, but you get where I'm going. It's really an easy project, and it's actually this one. This is very easy. This will be glued into a journal. If you want to keep it free floating, after you get it this far, you can just put decorative paper or some sort of paper on it, and then it's completely movable in a journal inside or out. But before we start this is a copycat video from the same woman and channel that brought us this. And if you watched, I believe, a video or two ago, I made these. These are from paper bags. I bought the cheapest lunch bags where you get 50 for like $1.99. I might have got these at Aldi's or Walmart. They, of course, are always crooked, so they're always ends are sticking out and don't match, and so if that bothers you, you may know of or buy a better quality or brand, but really for our purposes, you don't need a better brand. So this is what they look like, and as you can see, just like with this one, it's crooked. They glue them crooked. I'm not even worried about that. You refold them to be flat, fold it up, fold this down, and you got your envelope. You decorate it. This is what you got. I'm going to link that video below because I thought this was easy, and it is. If you don't mind the folding, it's super easy. This one I find easier yet. So I probably should have started with this one, but let me get this stuff out of the way. Also, and let's get this out of the way. I'm making this, which is the same size as this. This is what we're making. But I found in my stash some of these tinier envelopes, and I thought I could make a much smaller one as well, just to show you you don't have to have the exact same envelope. And paper bags. I don't know, now I have envelopes stuck in my head. These are very thick, much thicker than these. So probably the thinner, probably the better. So as you see with this one, I did put some items in it here just to fancy it up. Putting on the Ritz. This is really what it is. So there's a pocket there, and there's a pocket here. This envelope, as you can see, is white. I have a whole pack of these in white and brown. I don't use the white as much because they're white. I did not coffee stain them. I should. That's what I should do. But what I did was I took my distressed ink. Might not have been this color though. It was probably, I don't know what color it was. It might have been coffee. And I dabbed it on my glass. Underneath this I have a glass protector, and I dabbed it on the glass protector, sprayed it with water, and I just rubbed this in it, and it got it all blotchy. So again, because I didn't decorate the back, I didn't put any paper on the back, there is tape to hold the string. If you wanted it free floating, you can just put decorative paper on the back, and then it looks as pretty on the back as it does on the front. I didn't. I thought I would just glue this into a journal, but if I just leave it like this, I can change my mind as much as I want until the last second and then make the call. At any rate, I'm not going to, I'll ink because I have to, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to get out my my paper cutter because scissors, And I think I want it about the same. I could probably, about the same. So I'm just gonna, no measuring, just guesstimate. And you can cut it. Obviously this one, I used my handmade tear ruler, just a plastic dollar outlet ruler that I nipped off pieces with a pliers. Or you could even just make a soft tear with a regular metal ruler. I'm gonna try that. Let's see how that works. That might, never know. So, I'm gonna look for the seam. The seam's on the back because that's probably where I'm gonna have the most problem. And I'm just gonna guesstimate. Okay, boop. Yep. Okay, right about there. Good enough. I guess what my biggest issue is getting this semi-straight. Not that it needs to be straight. We're not scientists here. Now, I don't know if you know what to do with these. I know there are a few videos of things you can do with them. So I was collecting them until I had so many of them. I'll admit, alright, don't yell. I did have to rehome them. I had to file them, which is what I call my garbage can. Some of them, not all of them, but I can't keep all my garbage. Alright, now, if you're not going to ink, then, or distress ink, then you can totally skip this part. I'm just going to give it a quick once over, and I'm not going to be too fancy. I'm not putting on the airs here. I will link the video to both envelopes videos so that you can watch both of hers if you didn't see, if you didn't go the first time to her channel. I had her name written down so I wouldn't forget it, and then I went and forgot it. And then I went and forgot where I actually put her name. But when I find it, I'm gonna say it. I know that I said her name incorrectly the first time, so I guess it doesn't matter that I said her name the first time if I say it wrong, right? Sorry. I'm really bad at names. However, I'm a lot better at details when people tell me something. They tell me their story, or, you know, where they went to school, what they do for a living, all that kind of stuff. And I remember all that. I can remember their pets' names and funny stories they tell me that they're about their kids, whatever. But I won't remember their name. I don't know. I don't know how my brain works. Okay, so once you have it pretty much, I'm not going to worry about the back because I may put nice paper. Now, I just picked this piece of paper because it fell out on the floor as I was looking in my papers. I have no idea where I got this. It was probably a freebie from somewhere. I really don't know, or I'd share that with you, but I just don't know. So what I'm going to do, though, is I am going to, this never works out for me. I see everyone else do it. They just rip, and it looks so great, and half the time they're straight. Not me. I don't know. But we're going to brave it here. And obviously we're going to do that. I think I'm going to do a lot of just ripping. That way I don't have to keep pulling a paper cutter down. And on top of that, it also lessens how much I feel like I have to measure. So that, I think, always makes a project a little bit easier if you can just kind of freestyle. And I'm not freestyling for me is not always a success story, but we are gonna do it. Oh, well, okay. All right, okay. Let's go in a little deeper and hope for the best. Oh, I really did go in deep there. All right. So I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna just get a feel for where I want it, and I am gonna rip. Do you remember when somehow we all had it in our head that every measurement had to be so precise? It had to match dead on, be totally precise. The end of story. And now I'm over that. I am like, not big enough? Perfect. Gives me more room to distress ink. Too big? Perfect. I'm gonna rip a piece off. Alright. That's probably not the piece I would have picked to put there had I been paying attention to myself, but... And then I like to put a piece... Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Just so you know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna set that aside. Now, since this is gonna be our pocket, I might as well explain what I'm doing. I don't want to glue anything until I have my pieces of paper fitting ripped where I want it. So you don't have to put it all the way down. It's not a very deep pocket, so really, how much are you wasting, even if you do, to be honest? Not very much, right? I'm just trying to decide. I lose their heads and faces there. I don't know if anyone will notice. And vice versa here. Well, I might be able to get that one in. I'm just going to go with this. Made my decision, and I am going to the bottom. And none of my rips are straight, so I'm just going to try to get a little feel for about. We're just working on close and about. Okay, what I may do is just, so that I see some of the bags stick out, I may just take a hair off right here. I don't know how well that will work. Okay. Oh, yeah, all right. Okay, scissors time. Scissors. I usually try to not use scissors at all costs, but I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, no blood was shed. It's always a good day. We're gonna put that back in. I can now move it around a little bit, give myself a little bit of playroom. And now I'm gonna go to this side. I guess I want it about there. It's exactly perfect where I want it. Okay, so we have our top and bottom. When I do a piece for the back, I will do that later. I'm sure no one's gonna really need to see that. On this one, I did put a piece of string. Oops, sorry. Before I glued this down, I taped it in there and taped it. I just thought that had a cute look, and that's what she did. I'm gonna do one without that because we don't have to have that in there. So I'm going to do one without that. Now, since this is a big pocket, you can leave it like that. But I think if you glue it down, there's less likely, if you glue it, what would you call these? The gusset piece, if you glue it here and here, closed, then you glue the gusset either to the back or the front, I think it just gives a nicer, neater pocket. We don't need like a suitcase, I don't think. I mean, unless I was putting candy in there, I really don't need that. We're going to make it like that. That's plenty enough room. So before I go any further, I am going to glue all that. I'm using art glitter glue, but you can use whatever glue you choose and you like. I like art glitter glue. It's one of my favorites. I also like the Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1. But that lately, that used to be my absolute favorite. No one could have convinced me otherwise. And then I realized it dries, but it dries with a sheen or a little bit of shine. And I overglue so much that I decided maybe art glitter glue would be my better go-to first choice for most of my gluing, because that does not dry shiny, and therefore I can overglue without the guilt. And that's important, right? That is important, because no one needs that kind of guilt hanging on you all day. Okay, now you can decide, do you want to glue it to the front or the back? I'm just going to glue it to the back. Just making that decision. And you don't have to do this step at all. You really don't. I'm just doing it just to make it look a little bit neater to me in my head. So that's what I'm doing. Just going to glue those down. And you certainly don't have to be dead on or anything. Just get some glue in there and close it. It's pretty easy, right? Make sure the little tips are okay. Sorry if I'm bumping my phone. It seems like every time I bend my head down, I might be bumping my phone. Not sure. Okay. Just making sure it's all well connected, but it's still opening. Still opening. There it is. Opening. Okay. So I'm going to, you guessed it. You know me so well. And I actually like the ripped edges. I find that right now it adds to the old distressed look and feel to my projects, and I think it takes some of the stress out of having those perfect cuts. If something doesn't completely line up somewhere, if you have a little bit of a fray or like a frayed edge there. Whoop. I know at one time that was a huge no-no. Like that meant if you did, well, even now I guess if you do that with a paper cutter blade, that's kind of a no-no. But I will say I did not come from a card maker background. I did not come from scrapbooking or any paper crafting type craft whatsoever at all. That just is not where I came from. I actually got my start by total accident. I had no idea. I knew about scrapbooking. Obviously, I knew about card making. And I knew people could do those things in their craft room. I really never even thought I had an interest in any paper craft or anything. So it was totally by accident. I was more, at the time, I was making worry pets for children with anxiety, and autistic children, and children with sensory issues and sensory overload problems, and just in general anxiety or depression. And I was making worry pets, little, that they could stick in their pocket or school bag and take with them to school as in a kind of a secret way, a little just secret between them and their little pet. Also larger ones that they could sleep with or cart around, and some even a little larger that they could even use as a kind of a pillow sitting on a couch or take to bed at night or on a car trip. And that's what I was making when I had my phone on. I was watching a YouTube video, and when the video that I was watching, whatever it was, which was most likely on some sort of understanding of different type issues that children would have in sensory problems. When the video ended and my hands were full, I was in the middle of sewing something, and a video automatically started playing, and it was Wendy's journaling adventures. Never heard or knew. I had no idea. And I was glancing up every so often, and she was doing a flip through of 2 journals that she had completed, that she was doing a flip through to show everyone on YouTube. And whoa, stop throwing things around. And I didn't know what to make of it. It was what we call junk journal, with all kinds of coffee dyed paper and ripped edges and papers that weren't like, at first I couldn't wrap my head around what I was kind of seeing. And I was thinking, either she's brilliant, or I just couldn't get my head around it. And yet I thought there were so many cool things. I remember the one she even called William. She was going into this little story about William. It was years ago, and details evade me, but I thought I have to watch more of this. So I started watching her other videos, and I don't even know how to explain it. I was completely blown away, and yet overwhelmed with, I just knew I had to try it. I have no idea why, but I knew I had to try it. And she was talking about things like digital kits and words I'd never even heard before. I don't even know what signatures, and just gonna start this one. Rip this right about here. I knew well, that ain't gonna rip. Plan B. I knew I was gonna have to try it, and I started going through everything I had, and my first order was to coffee dye stuff, and well, that's right up my alley, because spilling coffee. I've coffee dyed carpets, furniture, bedspreads, countertops, other people's furniture. I have practice in. So I got all kinds of my papers, every kind of paper I could find in the house, envelopes, you name it, I collected it, and I made coffee, and I dyed away. I had so much dyed paper, I don't know, I thought I was making a encyclopedia set or something, but that's what I did. And then I collected cereal boxes and cracker boxes and like the shipping envelopes, like just like I had no idea what I was doing, but I was doing it. So I sat down and I watched her all, like, I just binge watched for weeks on what to do and how to make one. And part of my obsession suddenly with I'm thinking this was something I truly had to do was because I had lost my mom a few years before that. And for whatever reason, as she was going through her, Wendy was going through her explanation on her junk journal of William and like a whole little story. It just brought me back to my mom, and suddenly I just felt like I needed to make a journal that I felt more embraced my mom or something. And my sister's birthday was coming up, and I really just, me and my sister and my mom, we were like the three musketeers. We were, all three of us, we were best friends, telling each other anything and everything. We shared everything. Good times, bad times, all times. We all lived within walking distance. My sister lived right across the street from my mom. And I just felt like this was something I had to make and give my sister. So I, as a birthday gift. So I wanted to make it all about my mom, but also a lot where my sister could personalize it for things as my sister grew up and as my mom, being her mom, how it affected her, whatever, Christmases, birthday parties, my mom bringing home two baby brothers over the years. And I made it. I will have to, it's my first journal. I will always hold it super close to my heart. And I gave it to my sister, and she absolutely adored it, loved it. It actually sent her onto a journey of journal making and enjoying watching other people make journals and ephemera, and it was really like an aha moment that lasted to this day. And I still, to this day, spend a good chunk of my day watching other creators, other YouTubers, and having them inspire me. And I've never looked back. I've just never looked back. And the deeper I got into paper crafting, journaling, and all that, I ended up just sort of going far more into that. That's how I kind of started, and it's obviously years ago now, a couple years ago. I wish I would have found it way earlier, but better late than never, right? It's something that even now I find it therapeutic, and I now, for whatever reason, relate certain journals and certain things I make or watch other people make, and somehow I hook my mom's, I've hooked feelings to it that are like as if I'm enjoying it with my mom, I guess. Because I do think it's something my mom would have loved to also do. It's just there were no smartphones or things of that nature. When my mom passed away, we had cell phones, obviously, but no smartphones. There was no Google. So there was really no way that me, my mom, my sister, like, we were not very super worldly. We weren't. We were not super worldly, but that's okay. We were more, you know, not farmsy. I mean, my mom took in every animal that someone in the neighborhood didn't want. They'd just plunk it in our yard. Knew it would always have a super loving home for the rest of its life. So anyway, that's how I got started in my journey. It was totally by accident, and never looked back. It just totally happened by accident. I am happy about that. Not that I wouldn't make worry pets, but as a matter of fact, I kind of went into making just small handmade, I guess, kind of teddy bears, but they're not teddy bears. I make whatever animal I feel like making. And for some reason, I've made a lot of elephants. I don't know why, but you make them just like a teddy bear. And they remind me of junk journaling because they're very rustic and old looking. They look like something you'd find in someone's attic or basement, just like when you hand somebody a really distressed junk journal and it looks like it was in someone's attic somewhere for decades and decades and decades, and that's how stuffed animals look. It's really cool. Okay, so now you can decorate them all you want. I think I'm gonna take one and put the string on it. Let me dig out my string, as long as I don't knock the camera down, and I almost did. This is a little thick, but I don't think I have one thinner, so I'm just gonna use this. I'll just cut this off, and I mean, something that I have done this for forever, because I should, but I don't dye my string, so this is what I'm stuck doing. And that's okay, let it just dry for a second. Okay, I solved the mystery of how I ruin my ink pads. You got me. Now I know. Okay, so when you tie, just trying to think, she did it. I guess once you put the rope in the back, it pretty much forces you to, because you just put it like that, and then you put it around and you tape it back here. Well, I glue mine. Then I put a piece of tape over it. So your envelope is like that. You just put it here and then find the middle. I'm going to just eyeball the center, which is always really not my skill set, but we're doing it. We're doing it. I put the rope there. And I don't want to super close it till it's dry, but I'm gonna just give it a little so I know where to cut this. And I'm gonna cut it about here because I just want it like this. Okay, now that that's pretty much okay, I'm just gonna get a piece. You can use washi tape or whatever kind of tape you want. I like to use a really sticky Scotch tapey type tape, and I like to tape really along the whole edge and really try to fit it down in there. As a matter of fact, you can even get your bone folder. I like to do that so that it's less likely of any of that rolling down. So I do it that way. Then I do the same for this. I just bring it around. What you don't want to do is pull it too tight. You don't want it to curl or bend the edge. You really don't. And I'm just gonna do a line and put that in it before it dries. I'm gonna flip it over just to notch it where I want it. There it is. Kind of cute, isn't it? But before we move any further, I'm over taping. I always over tape like I over glue. I don't know why, but that's me. I get sort of picked on at Christmas time because everyone's present that I wrap. Everyone's busy saying, "Do you have a scissors? Who has the scissors?" Because I over tape. Okay. There's part of it. Now you can either put this behind and have that glue down, and you won't have it in the back. You can nip that off or tape it, doesn't matter. So anyway, yeah, you can either glue that down to the very bottom, because that's pretty much your center, or you can actually wrap it around your center. You just have to decide what you're doing before you glue that down, because once you glue it down, you have to put it in the back. So I think, you know what, I think I'm just gonna put it to the bottom. That's what I'm doing. Made my decision. So I'm just gonna put my glue here. And put this in on the bottom. Doing it that way because I did not do it this way with my other one. And now I can either tape it or just make sure it's glued there. So that's just gonna, guess I'll put a piece of tape there. Oh, I might have to trim this piece of tape. Oh, the glue. There's my scissors. Don't need that much tape. I mean, come on, right? Okay. Now we're ready. We can just glue the on the side here. So we're just going to put some glue here. Oh, I should have used my 3-in-1 here because, whoa, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay. And we're holding. It always comes in handy to have a few of these sitting about. Make sure that's pulled all the way down. I could have did a longer one on that, couldn't I have? Well, that's going to be my excuse now why I can't tie in a bow. Because we all know I can't tie a bow. Oh, I like to put the left side in to the under, and then the right side in and under. And then I just tie a little knot. Alright, so this is probably gonna get a little funny because I can never tie a bow. Okay, that's what it's gonna look like. And I'm going to try tying the bow. And I've seen videos where people do all kinds of fancy little grab things and do a twist and spread their fingers and bam, they got the cutest little bow. I don't know. Okay, so where's that? Right there. It's very short. Okay, well that was my bad because that was very short. But you definitely make yours longer because I hope I've been doing this in frame because I'm not remaking that. There you go. There you go. So now you have your little pocket here, which we're gonna stick in there. Let's stick a little thing in there. And we have the big pocket here. So I didn't glue it shut. Got a nice big pocket there. Little pocket there. Tiny little pocket. Same with this. I'm not going to put the string on it, so all I need to do is glue it. Yes, it is me making that look harder. I don't know. Must be because it's late at night. Oh, look at me gluing that in all crooked. Well, that's going to have to get trimmed. That's what I get for yapping. Yapping instead of doing what I was supposed to be doing. There we go. Better. Okay, ready to decorate. I didn't even decorate this one yet. That's just how fancy the paper was. But the paper was from Vibe of Vintage. This I have no clue. It was just a freebie from somewhere, from someone. And it must be pretty old because I've been trying to, when I buy a digital kit or papers or get one free, I try to print one out and put where I got it. But this one is way older than that. I just don't remember. But at any rate, there it is. Take these off. I think that's okay. Ready to decorate. And if you make a bunch of these and don't even decorate them, you can just put them aside. Then when you need one for a journal, you can pick the theme or style and then decorate it so that it still custom made for that particular project. But I think they're adorable, and they really are easy. I definitely milked it so that I could tell my story, I guess, but but at any rate, they're really easy. I'm going to put the link below so you can watch her do it. She probably took less than 3 minutes to make it, and that's how easy they are. But if you went the scenic route, you know where to go. This girl. All right, well, thank you for joining me. Stay creative, and hugs.